Are you ready, Mr. Smith?
I suppose so.
Alrighty. Then let's roll and I'll give a proper intro. Or are you already rolling?
I'm ready.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to our speaker tonight. He is running for the 16th Congressional District seat on the Republican ticket. He is a CPA.
Well, I was a
CPA. Was
retired.
a CPA. He's now retired. And he threw his hat in the ring, I believe, back in January. So let's give a warm Ashland welcome to Mr. H. Doyle Smith.
Some time ago, since I've been a sustaining member of the Republican National Committee for a number of years, and seeing what was going on, I wrote the Republican National Committee and told them that I was not able to continue supporting them as long as they were continuing on the direction they were going. I did not like the idea that they were playing games, spending all their time fighting each other, and nowhere were they actually trying to govern. They wrote me back saying that their job was to get Republicans elected and that it was up to the candidate to make the policy. So they recommended to me that I contact the candidates and see who I could back. Unfortunately, I found that the three that are running, I couldn't back. And I'm not going to go into that because the Democrats will find it out in a little while anyway, and it'll become public. I came to Canton 16 years ago to meet a girl I'd been corresponding with for a whole year. I was about to leave my home in Hendersonville, North Carolina, and I planned to go to Arizona. But I decided to come up and meet her in person before I went to Arizona so I could see at least what she looked like. I came up on Thanksgiving, and on January 1st I moved to Canton. And I married her that year. So that's the reason I'm in county. Now I've got a Master's of Arts in Education, and I have a family that's very much into education. And I chose to become a substitute teacher in Stark County. And by the time I was through, I had substituted in all but 4 of the districts in Stark County. I found that that's one way to know your county. Your schools definitely reflect the county or the district that they're in. One school was very much technical about machinery and how to manufacture things. Another was how farmers could relate with one another. A third was academically inclined. And a fourth was very much into self-discipline. And the result was that while I found that all the students were getting as good an education as the teachers could give them, I found that it was necessary to consider that no two school districts are essentially alike. Each has its own culture. Now, when we talk about our education, No Child Left Behind coming out of Washington, that doesn't reflect the fact that different schools need different types of education. And each district needs to determine what the objective of what they teach is and relate it to that district. Because the kids need to be able to function in the area they live in. Now there are 2 exceptions to that. Everybody needs to communicate one with another. I would assume that English as a first or second language, mathematics, economics, and civics should be taught throughout the country. And those the federal government should have an interest in. Most of the rest should be left to the local school board and the state in which that school board is located. So that is my take on education. Now, we had a health a health care bill come out. The health care bill added to the number of people who needed health care those who were not covered by insurance before. But they did not add one doctor, they did not add one nurse, they did not make it easier for the doctor to practice. They did nothing whatever to increase the amount of medical services available. And that needs to be changed. Now, in the health care bill, there are a couple of things that are important. We have had a number of times when people have gone to the emergency room who were uncovered by insurance and who had no money. The emergency room was required to service them, but they didn't get paid for it. At least this was covered. Now, it's going to cost a heck of a lot more to cover all these other people. In economics, you learn that the price is determined by the relationship between demand and supply. Supply has not been increased at all. Demand has been increased greatly, and the result is that price will go up. Now, the worst part about it, though, let's go into a different subject. The worst part that's happened to this country lately is the inability of businesses to compete profitably. At first I was saying that, and it's on my cards, that we should have equivalency between taxes and tariffs for foreign and domestic production. Now that's evolved. We need equivalency of cost between foreign production and domestic production. As a result of that, I'm suggesting that any import must be invoiced into this country at 90% of a determined cost factor that would be determined by the Department of Commerce. In other words, if it costs $10 in America to produce this product, the price on the invoice from anything imported into the country would have to be at least $9. Then we can choose our person to produce it based upon quality, safety, and appearance, instead of finding that we cannot recover our cost because the imported product is so low priced that our costs exceed their sales price. Now, in line with this, there are a number of things that need to be accomplished, and some of them are best done by making this work. For instance, we cannot survive as a nation if our young people cannot survive and thrive. And in order to do that, there has to be business that they can work at and ways to earn a living. Now, if we have equivalency between foreign and domestic production on cost, then the domestic production can exist. We have had Hoover in North Canton, who was not able to compete with the prices coming into the country, and those people in North Canton are out of business. We have had a lot of people worrying about cost, and sometimes they've done so to a bad situation.